Heyo, so it's time to do another city cutscene. I think I did work on one recently. Yeah, I did work on one recently. I need to see if I've got it. Because I need to now sort of make the next scene from that one. It should be in design, scenes, post. Yeah. So this is one I did while I was away on holiday last week. Just brought my laptop with me reluctantly, intentionally, to work on stuff if I got bored. And there was just one day I just wanted to stay in a hotel and just do some graphics as you do. Beach is nice, but I'd rather be doing creative stuff all the time. So I made this little scene, which is kind of like I'm trying to sort of not spoil the game, but I think everything is going to contribute to the success of the game. I don't know, building up some sort of fan base for it, whatever. But so yeah, I made this little scene where we're kind of like going towards the road, is kind of what I'm trying to get at. So I should now transform this into a kind of roadside scene, because we're supposed to be getting picked up by a pickup truck. We jump on the back of it, and I don't want to spoil too much of the game. I'll try and keep some stuff a secret, but it's really difficult. So I'm going to make this road wider. So I'll just paint the grey over it. The good thing is, I've already got some of the scene here. I can just sort of work on top of it, and I need to make it feel like this road is big enough to accommodate a jeep of some kind, because we're going to hop onto the back of it and it's going to take us to the city. Right, I had a few different ideas though when I was away, like something like we get scared, or something we jump off the jeep and we end up somewhere else, which takes us to somewhere else, right? I thought that would be cool. I need to watch how many actual scenes I end up making because of the memory limitations of the storage and everything. Obviously this has to be like an REU game, like an expanded memory idea, because, well, it will just need to be. So yeah, I just want to make up more of these little scenes, and what I could do is actually a little kind of truck stop lay-by, yeah, which actually would help. I forget if we've got specific rules about where we place the roads and stuff, but it is what it is. There's a lot of manual work involved in making these scenes work later. Right, I need to get rid of all this stuff because I don't want it to be very obvious that it's just a copy of the previous scene. So I need to get rid of all the similar pixels. And then I just start making stuff up. Just start making stuff up. Just putting a little fence here. It doesn't have to be super accurate to the isometric style angle. Like, it's very loose, right? I'm not restricted by a tile set, although that's probably sensible. Much of this is just down to general compression and the fact we're not using up the full bitmap. So a lot of this repeated grey would be essentially compressed right down, because it would be repeat line or whatever, repeat block. But you know what I end up doing? I end up detailing it all out. Oops. End up adding loads of noise to that doesn't really help compression at all. So we're not limited by old hardware either. We're just limited by how much we can load into RAM and stuff like that. But I think we can get quite big REU cards these days, or even the Commodore 64 Ultimate with an SD card reader is something that I'm thinking more about. It's like, well, how much different is that from a really big tape or a really big floppy disk? I don't care about loading times the way people might think. Well, loading times are a real pain in the butt. Commodore 64 fans just kind of got used to all that stuff because, well, it was the norm, right? Things had to be loaded off of something, and tape was the media of that time, and we often had cool music and everything to go with it, so I'm hoping we have cool music to go with this as well. We'll need to see how it goes. There's a little fallen tree here or something. And listen to Rambo. Another little rule of thumb for when you're doing art is don't put black in the background, keep black in the foreground. I think I mentioned that in a previous video. Like, I often like to give little art tips, because if you ever look at a landscape, if you're out and about and you look into the distance, you'll notice that the contrast of things far away isn't as high as things near you, and it's just because of all the little particles of dust and air and moisture in the air. They're all kind of like a little bit bright, and collectively they sort of make the background look faded, right? So it's the same principle, and it just helps create the right level of depth. Sorry to bore you with art stuff. I'm just kind of saturated by it. Anyway, putting these little bits of noise and stuff in here. You see, my favourite dither is obviously the checker dither. Like, I don't really use much else because the checker dither is just the right amount of mix to make that extra colour. Obviously you don't mix like really extreme colours, keep them quite close to each other. If I mix like cyan, you can really see it. So I just tend to keep the colour palette quite simple. So I think we could probably have the little truck shown up here. I'm going to help this fence look a little bit more 3D by just adding a little pink highlight on tops of stuffs like that. And again, in the distance it won't matter too much, so I can forget about it there. I'm thinking about if a shadow was just it, then I don't have to draw it there. Things like that. Right. Yeah, I want this to sort of fade into the distance here, so I'm going to use either pink or grey. And grey is good because it's not vivid, right? It's not as vivid as pink. You can notice when I use pink here, it's a bit more, boom. So I use kind of a combination of both. Seems like a clip of a game that I've never played before with a lot of mummies and stuff in it. What is that? Renegade 3 level 2. I never really played that game very much. That's more or less that scene done, right? I just need to sort of spoil up the foreground a bit and I usually keep my detail in the foreground and less detail in the background. Again, that's a similar thing to what I was talking about of the contrast idea, like things in the foreground are more contrasted or at the same time more detailed, and things in the background slightly more blurry. A few little rocks as well, just a blob on them. You kind of use your imagination a bit with the Commodore graphics, I'm afraid, because it's a bit low def. You can see I'm using the Wacom pen. It actually works really well in McDraw. I get a lot of good work done using my pen. Using the mouse is a nightmare. Gosh, I used to use the joystick back in the late 80s and 90s with the Koala Paint and Saracen Paint and whatever else there was around about that time. Don't know how I managed to keep my head together, but I don't remember producing things of that much quality. I do remember making a disc up and showing my friend it, who had a floppy disk drive. Like, nobody had a Commodore disk drive, but someone did. They had the 15412 drive, and I was like, whoa, that's cool, you get the modern version. I had the old banger 1541 and the Breadbin C64. I was kind of like older than he was, so he got like the newer model and all that. And then it was just cool to be able to share stuff with people. That was the one and only time I shared it with my friend. He still remembers that to this day. You showed me those graphics. And I remember I did like a kind of Walker for Amiga Ed 209 type of robot thing. And I did all this dithering and stuff, and it was all with the joystick, you know, block by block, pixel by pixel, click, 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 click. God knows how my joystick survived it, but it did. Anyway, so that was what I'm saying is these days you've got social media and all that where you can post stuff. Yeah, it's a different world completely. So yeah, it's kind of, I don't want to do much for this scene. There's going to be a lot going on with the cat coming in, and so I'm just going to save this. In fact, I need to block out all the border here, because we're only using a portion of the screen to save some memory again. So I can get rid of anything here. We save like a whole bunch of blocks, and I do like to do this little thing at the borders. I could have like a kind of tree effect here. So this will help for compression as well. I always like to put trees in the foreground, stuff like that, like little bushes, but do them as black, because that kind of creates a bit of depth. So I find myself doing that quite a lot. And then I could obviously anti-alias these little bits by putting like halfway little dashes. That just helps make it look smoother. I'll not get away with all this colour here, so it's probably going to clamp something down soon. But yeah, this just helps frame things a bit. Right, and then I'm going to export that. And then let's just flip this to there and then import it. So downloads. I don't know why my cursor's disappeared. And that's, you see the changes it's made. New, old, new, old, new. Barely even know. No, you wouldn't even know. Right. So now I can carry on doing a bit more work for one, like I might put some cracks in the ground, more apparent now. I've got colour to play around with. So that's really it. Thanks for watching. Bye.